Hi there. So this is a quick overview of the Amazon ecosystem with a worked example. So I'm Julian Harris, Head of Innovation at Department of Work and Pensions here in the UK. The reason why I'm covering this is because we are looking to explore, we're looking to explore how to do more with less using innovative technology. And so there's a number of themes in the department that we're really interested in. One of them is the future of customer support channels, the future of work, and digital inclusion. They're all very important themes. And the space of voice and voice bots is very, very interesting for us. So what is Amazon Echo? Well, here you can see it's a very simple picture, right? The simplest way of describing it that I've seen is that it's a hands-free, voice-only computer. And people use Alexa and Echo interchangeably because, oh look, I've got one right here, it started listening when I mentioned that word. There's the Echo, which is the big speaker version, the one I have right here. This is the UK version. And then the Dot is the one that has exactly the same features, but it's got a little speaker. People tend to use the word Alexa and Echo interchangeably. So if I do, it's because they're the same thing, really. So who can benefit from computers that don't need literacy or hand motor skills? This is the question, I think, that is useful to explore when considering a computer that has no screen and no keyboard. That's what it is, and it has access to the internet. Sorry, I can pull it a little closer, just if I can show you. Well, you saw the picture, I'll leave it at that. So, in this technical session, you're going to learn about how Alexa works and what the key concepts are, and we're actually going to go through and create a brand new skill, and I'll talk about what that means, and change the functionality of this box so it does something new. Okay. For those who are familiar with this territory, I'm going to go through the color preference tutorial, but I'm going to go through it super quickly. I'm not expecting you to follow every step. I'll just illustrate the reality and the excitement that this brings to me. So you need an Amazon AWS free account. It's very straightforward. I won't cover that in the tutorial, so if you don't have one and you're curious to figure out how this works, please try that. I think it's aws.amazon.com/free, but I'm not an Amazon representative. This is simply a great starting point. I'll look at other technologies in this space too. Hopefully when I get a Google Home box and the Cortana system, I'll look at those as well. There's all enablers for this hands-free, what did I call it? It was a really good phrase, I've forgotten it already. Hands-free voice-only computer, there we go. So, to get the most out of the session, it's for the technically inclined. You'll see some code, but it's a label that a colleague of mine, Lewis Richards, described, which is a one-finger programming system, so you'll be able to copy and paste to get everything done. You don't actually need to know what the code does, just copy and paste, right? So, this is the key thing for me. I spent some time looking at Alexa and the Amazon Echo. Got one at home. And these are the key concepts. So basically, there are two concepts. One is that there is a bunch of user interface technology that makes it hands-free. And there are some concepts here that I'll go through in detail. At the high level, we have skills, utterances, intents, slots, and then we have these things called Lambda Functions. Okay, so a skill is, as you can see here on the slide, it's the user experience entry point, right? It's the natural language interface for your service. So it's the bit that does all of the taking the audio from what I say, turning it into words, and then adding meaning. And then we have utterances. Right? And utterances are the way of helping the system understand the natural language. So it gives examples of the kinds of phrases that will help trigger your service. The intent is a UX feature. So that is, you might have a service that does a number of things and the features of the specific services, if you want, or you can just do if you want, in which case you don't need an intent. The final thing, which is another smart for user experience, it adds further constraints and extra logic that isn't necessarily clear in other ways. So dates and colors and things, it can say, here are a range of them, and it can provide additional constraints to improve the reliability or confidence that it'll choose the right thing. So that's the user experience component up here, and then the technical functionality, which this demo will cover roughly, is this one specific, simple way of delivering technical online services called Amazon Lambda Functions. And I'm choosing it in this tutorial because it's the example I've got is super easy. That was funny. I was really thinking, should I disable Avira before I start this? And I've never seen that dialog before, and of course it comes up in this tutorial. Okay, so technical functionality, it's just an incredibly simple way that wires it all up, and it does a bunch of stuff. Now I'll go through a little bit more detail on these points. So skills help translate natural language to services. And here's an example where we say, I'm not going to say the word Alexa because this thing will keep listening, keeps listening. So I'm going to ignore that and I'll just say, ask National Rail for the next train. Actually,
I wasn't able to understand the question I heard.
Alexa, ask National Rail for the next train.
There are no delays on your commute. The next train from Kingston departs at 5:48 p.m.
Alexa,
You will...
Stop.
Okay. Have a nice trip.
So the skill is the National Rail part, right? It's the connection between the Alexa and National Rail, right? It's still listening.
Welcome to National Rail. Would you like to check your commute, get information for a different journey,
Alexa,
or ask...
Stop.
Okay. Have a nice day.
Then we have the utterances. Now these are simply a list you provide of the individual examples that you think might be good. The brilliant innovation here is that the sample utterances that you provide are not the definitive list. It uses machine learning techniques to use those as a starting point to train the system for variations. So you don't have to have all of them. This is the genius part. A lot of people spend a huge amount of time in the past trying to figure out exactly what you'll do and being very, very inflexible. This utterance mechanism makes it very, very flexible and adaptable. And quite a lot of these systems, I think they all should have them. I know that Amazon does, and I know that the kit.ai system has them as well. This mechanism of examples setting a training set. So, intents, as I said, describe specific skill action. So in this case, for the next train, there's a specific scenario that intent that turns into. So they can translate into a function, but this word function is used in lots of different ways, so I won't say function. Slots help constrain them further. Now this is an interesting thing. So in the demo bot we'll see we're going to use a slot to constrain a set of colors. Now the documentation is pretty clear that although it's a constrained set, it's not definitive. So it's not like a technical concept of an enum, because you could actually have another color if it's convinced that there is another color. And in fact, if you ask this little baby what its favorite color is, it's pretty funny. It says, in fact, I'll ask, Alexa, what's your favorite color?
I don't have an opinion on that.
Okay. It's not what I said before, but maybe I said it in a different way. Okay. Alexa, what's my favorite color?
I don't know what yours is, but mine is seafoam.
So that brings up two interesting points. The two connections they didn't make. So one time it thought, it first of all said I don't have one, and the second time it did say one. So that's where suddenly the metaphor breaks down. Anyway, the final part, as you saw before, all of these points before were the user experience components, and the Lambda function is just a specific way of delivering services in a lightweight form. So now we're going to do a walkthrough. And with this walkthrough, we're going to create an actual skill with utterances and slots and intents and a Lambda function, walking through the color demo that Amazon does at high speed. So the tutorial that I'm using is here, and what I'm going to do also is that it's actually got American spellings, but I don't speak US English, and so the trouble I've had in the past is that the ecosystem hasn't recognized my commands when I wrote a US version. So the first thing to do is to create a Alexa skill, which is the user experience component.
I can't find the answer to the question I heard.
I will say echo skill set, skill set, so I don't get this little parrot here popping up every time. So Alexa, oops, I said it again. Right, add a new skill, okay. So UK, because I don't speak American English and it does get confused, I'm going to call this Color Guru. And invocation name has to be multiple words, and it can't have pronouns and things, so I'm going to call this color guru, and then save that. So now this is implementing the technical part of the user experience, the vocal part. And I'm then going to let's see if I can get this button, click next. Right, so now we're at the interaction model. This is where I'm going to get some code snippets from the demo that's provided. And this is where the new concepts start coming into play that I covered. Intents and slots. So the intent is just a label. Now it doesn't matter that that's written with American spelling because it's just code, and that part I can speak. So the other part actually though is a custom slot type. And again, this is not a fixed constraint, but it's a guide that makes it easier to improve recognition. So I'm going to put that in a custom slot type. List of colors, which matches up with this list here. And I'll paste this baby in here. Oops. Save that, and then what I've done is I've actually localized the sample utterances just to make sure that I've got a UK version. And this gist you can find at Google/ULKGDE. If you want to grab that and you're in the UK, I've had endless confusion with it not recognizing my accent. So I want to make sure that the words are right. So there we go. Next. Right. So now the connection part. This is where we're wiring up the. Let's see if I can whip past here the illustration. So this is now the end point. Is this technical functionality, as they call it, the end point. And I'm going to choose an AWS Lambda function, and I'm going to pick a North American one because Alexa is only, this Echo is only available in North America at the moment, although you can use it physically anywhere in the world. It's hosted in Virginia at the moment. So what do we put here? Well, we need to type special code. Where do we get this from? And we get it from the AWS site, and sign in, and then there's a shortcut here, but if that doesn't turn up, then you can just search for it as well. Trick here is that you're not looking for Echo or ALEXA. Crikey, it's like I'm talking around a baby spelling things out so it doesn't pick it up all the time. I was like looking for this word ALEXA. Didn't hear me. Doesn't know how to spell. Actually does know how to spell. Alexa, spell peanut.
Peanut is spelled P-E-A-N-U-T.
So that's pretty cool. It's pretty nifty. Okay, so get started now. Now here's where it gets interesting. It says select a blueprint. They do have templates or blueprints to kickstart things, and for this demo, there is actually one for the color expert. This connection here is how it triggers it. Now, there's a number of reasons why you might want reciprocity from the technical component up through to user experience. Just assume that that's what they need and run with that. So function callers, color guru. Now, runtime, Java, Node.js, Python, pretty decent collection of languages there. I think the Google Functions only does Node.js at this stage. I think, and Microsoft, as of today, November 15th, Microsoft announced their version of this. Don't know what languages. I suspect it'll be all of the standard .NET ones. Okay, and role. Now I'm going to go through this again. This wasn't included in the demo of the Amazon ones. The role is for security, and this really got me stuck, so I'm going to show you what happens. If I create a custom role, then all you do is you can call it anything you like, but they have one called Lambda Basic Execution. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call it just that, and I'll call it 3. I've actually got a few of these for the demo. And this button's now hidden under the screen, so then I'll go allow. And now we have that set up. there's a huge system for access control, but this works well for what we have. The rest of the stuff you can ignore for now. And now we're at the review stage, and again my button's hidden under the thing. So I'm going to create this function. So again, what this has done is that we've created a function down here, and we've created a skill, some sample utterances, an intent, and some slots. This is the user experience tech, and this is the functional component. So let's go back and see where we are. Now the neat thing about all this is that it's got really good testing. I'm sure there's APIs for all this, knowing Amazon. To be able to verify this all works, the first thing I want to do is, does this function work? And there's a component here for start session, which is a good one to test and see what happens. Save and test. Okay, and it calls the Lambda function I just created, and with the results in the log output. First of all, exceeded. Here are the logs. There's a link to the actual log too. It's pretty good. That's all good. So that's wired up. Now we have this magic hieroglyphics up here, which we just stick into our function, which is sitting around here, North America. Stick that in there. If you stick Europe, it goes, oh, it's not European, because it's got US East 1 in there, so that has to be North America. Okay. I'm sure this interface will get much slicker. There's no reason why I can't pick from that list. This is very specifically for, why I can't list all of the Lambda functions at this point. I'm a little unclear, but there we go. It's not that difficult. Right, so it's enabled for testing. The first thing you can test is a test utterance, which is it's taken what I've said and it's turned it into text and see whether it works. So you can actually say ask color guru, and this is saying it's sending the text. I'm not sure what your favorite color is. You can say favorite color is red. That is the point where, because I'm logged in here and on my phone, we should see a couple of magic things happen. This is really neat because the test cycle is really important. Being able to have direct access to things. And what it's done is it's actually made my skill available on my phone. It's super slick. And sure enough, there it is. You see it there? Probably all blurry, but it says Dev UK. And that means that this is another concept that I haven't included, but there is a user experience extension. There's a voice part, but there's actually a screen part. The screen part for Alexa is on the screen and it shows output. So when I said spell peanut, it showed all of that. So in fact you can augment the vocal output with some additional visual components, which is very, very valuable. Actually, one of the most interesting insights for me is this. Voice is fine, but we really want cross-channel. We want to talk when it's convenient, but we also want to see when that's convenient. You can't really describe a picture or describe an implement or anything and watch a video. There's so many reasons why speech is great for one scenario and other forms like screens are great for others. Alright, so in theory, this should all work. Now I'll just try it. Now, what was the interaction model I chose? It's all wired up. And it was under skill information, color guru. Okay. Alexa, ask color guru.
Welcome to the Alexa Skills Kit sample. Please tell me your favorite color by saying, my favorite color is red.
My favorite color is green.
I now know your favorite color is green. You can ask me your favorite color by saying, what's my favorite color?
What's my favorite color?
Your favorite color is green. Goodbye.
So as it was talking, it listed the text there. So I can show very quickly what that looks like and where it is. Let's jump quickly to the function, the Lambda code. In here, I can hide this little baby and make this little thing a little more visible. Alright, so in here there is a thing called card. So the text that turned up here is here. And I'm assuming you can do all sorts of standard HTML. I haven't tried too much in there. But that's pretty awesome if you can do that. And it's actually got abilities to send some like images and things, which is helpful. So let's go to the summary then. So we talked about utterances, slots. Okay. So the conclusions here from the user experience point of view. The voice user experience, this is a huge opportunity, a completely new way of engaging, and this definitely fits in line with our department's objectives to enhance and enrich services. It's new technology, it's emerging, and that's what our group looks at. But one of these babies, particularly the DOT, which in the UK is 50 quid now, is making it commodity. And even better now, Amazon's provided a kit to embed all of the logic for that interface to any device. This is really, really exciting stuff. Lots of hand-free use, at-home use cases. They're amazing how often you're in a situation where you just want something. And the microphones on these things are incredible. It has got very, very good coverage. So being able to talk across the room and say, Alexa, do I need an umbrella tomorrow?
It might rain in Kingston upon Thames tomorrow. There's a 40%
Alexa,
chance.
Stop. So, and it's very, very new. One of the things that's very, very tempting is to make these things incredibly complex because it's a new toy. Every time new tech comes along, everyone gets really excited and people start, waving their hands around and doing way more complicated stuff than is necessary. So there's a really good starting book that's due out. I think in the US you can buy it now. Kathy Pearl. She's done a book by O'Reilly called Designing Voice User Interfaces. She's on a few podcasts as well. Brilliant resource. She's really got some good messages around user experience. For instance, make sure you design the system around what the users normally, how they talk rather than how the system works. This is the same for text bots as well, by the way. And also, what else was there that was interesting? I think that's one of the key ones, actually. There's a few others, and this will emerge. So whenever you're exploring this stuff, make sure you get a user experience designer to start learning about this new vernacular, the vocal conversational experience. I think the other thing is, now I'm thinking about it, when you're talking, it's a very, very limited window. So it's easy to forget what happened. It's easy to get overloaded with information sent back. And so it needs to be in very small chunks that you can understand. And if there is confusion, then you need to make sure that you can repeat and ask for clarification on points and have a very flexible, forgiving interface. Another point I now remember that Kathy mentioned was don't ask questions that will just cause confusion. So if a bot says, "How are you today?" you need to deal with a response. If they say, "Well, not so good really, I've had a miserable time," if they then say, "I'm sorry, I don't understand," it's just asking for trouble. This stuff is really new. Okay, and the technology side, I mean, what's really impressive specifically with this tech stack we looked at, with the skills and the Lambda functions, is that it's incredibly easy to test at each level. We have Lambda tests and skill tests. I didn't even bring it. Let me do it quickly. There's a virtual echo. It's called Echo Sim. Oops, that wasn't quite what I wanted. Echo Sim, let's show that straight away. This is where you don't even need one of these. So you can do this right now. You're logged into Amazon and hold it down and say, "Ask Color Guru."
I couldn't find that app or game.
So it's American. It might not pick it up. That's probably why it is. Never mind. I don't have an answer to that. I think I got it working in both cases. It may be that, well, it should work. Ask Color Guru.
Sorry, I'm not sure which app or game to open.
Okay, I'll leave it at that for now. And the text editor is pretty decent as well. So let's finish that up. It was a quick overview. I hope people have found that useful. The concepts. I'll just finish off this final slide to summarize the points. That the ecosystem that we're talking about here is a set of user interface technology, skills, utterances, intent, and slots. And on the technical functionality, we're talking about a specific example of very easily and conveniently wrapped up tech called Amazon Lambda Functions. You will notice that I did all of this in the browser, so you don't need any particular kind of computer to do this. You could do it on anything at all. Thank you for watching and listening, and please provide feedback. I'd love to learn how to do this better.